My name is Matthew Moon. I've been on Borough Council now for about 3.5 years. I'm in my first term, and I currently serve as the Vice President of the Borough Council as well. Gettysburg is our home. It's a community that welcomed us, that took care of us at a time where we were in great need. And after many years of watching our council be sort of a non-functioning body where personality conflicts and personal axe grinding was getting in the way of just good government, I decided that when you have a skill set that you think you can bring to bear in a democracy, we have a responsibility to do that. And I saw that there was an opening, and I decided that I would pursue it. We've done a lot in the last 3.5 years. Our current president likes to say that Gettysburg is a borough that tends to get stuff done, and I think that that is accurate. The last 3.5 years have been challenging. I was sworn in January of 2020, and 3 months later everything shut down. And it was an extraordinarily challenging year. Watching our dedicated professional staff at the borough rise to that challenge, and then doing what we could to facilitate them rising to that challenge was extremely rewarding. Watching the way Gettysburg responded head and shoulders above many other municipalities in the Commonwealth. But additionally, you know, it wasn't just all reacting to calamity. We also got a lot of important work done. We created a Human Relations Commission and passed a non-discrimination ordinance. That was a long undertaking. It took us a year to craft the ordinance, and it took us another several months to select that panel, to get them trained, and to make sure that the ordinance was respectful of all people in the borough. I'm really proud of the way that came out. The other thing I really was pushing hard for when I ran for office was the creation of a dedicated human resources office at the borough. We have a fairly unfortunate history of litigation, and I wanted to make sure that we had a professional person in place to make sure that we are using best practices to be the best possible employer that we can be. And I'm happy to say that we created that position. We hired that director, and over the last several months we've been going through the arduous process of reviewing all of our employee policy, the handbook, the performance manual. It's not glamorous work, but it's really important stuff, and it puts the taxpayers of Gettysburg in a much better position, and I'm really proud that we are able to accomplish that. For a small community, I think we have a fairly robust group of nonprofits who do the really important work of filling in the gaps. And there are a lot of gaps. When we first moved here and we were starting a food truck, SCAP stepped up and took care of our food safety training certification. They saw that we had a need and helped us with that. The list of nonprofits that facilitate good work in our community is exhaustive. You could list them and their accomplishments all day. The work that's being done to improve the lives of everybody in Adams County and in the borough of Gettysburg by these organizations is invaluable. And if we didn't have these people who are willing to step up, to spend the long hours doing the grant writing and the research and really applying themselves to the task of helping other people, we would have a lot more people falling through the cracks in ways that it's hard to really appreciate. The number of organizations we have and the variety of organizations we have are just absolutely critical, and I'm proud to support them in every way I can. There'll be an email address and a phone number on screen. Please feel free to contact me at any time. A lot of people find the issues confronting the borough confusing sometimes. There's a lot of misinformation out there. You can ask me anything. The business of governance in the borough is public, and if you've got a question, we're here to answer it. If you just need trouble, if you're having trouble navigating, how to get something done in your own life, ask us. Often we can be a good shortcut to put you in contact with the right official or agency to accomplish your task or your goals. I'm running for re-election because I think there's still more work to be done. Being on borough council is challenging. It can be at times thankless. It can be very tedious, but we're doing important stuff here. The borough of Gettysburg of the future depends on the work that we're willing to put into it today. We have to do the hard work of establishing the balances that keep Gettysburg running, and Gettysburg is all about balance. We have historic preservation versus contemporary development. We have the needs of a robust business community versus the needs of the residents. We have the needs of millions of visitors versus the needs of the people of the town of Gettysburg. It's somewhat common, I think, to forget that people live here and that those people have needs that need to be met and concerns that need to be heard. And that is my job on council, and I'm happy to continue doing that. I have a personal background in personnel management and project management. I determined that those were skills that I thought could be put to use well by the borough government. And there's a lot of work to be done. There's an expression, we're planting the trees whose shade we will never sit under. And I think that's not always glamorous. It's not glamorous to be creating capital improvement plans who won't be fully realized for 10 or 20 years, but that work still has to be done. And right now, there are so many federal redevelopment dollars out there that are up for grabs, and Gettysburg is uniquely positioned to try to get as much of that federal tax money back here to the taxpayers of Gettysburg to invest in our future, invest in our infrastructure, invest in making sure that our town remains viable for people to continue to visit for decades to come.